So yeah, hi folks, Abby here from Propagate, yeah, here we are at Hidden Veg, which is a market garden that I run with Bruce, who's also Propagate. He's the maker and fixer of things. And today I'm going to do a video on companion planting, intercropping and catch crops. So I grow on a semi-commercial basis. We grow to sell to local households and also local cafes here. Lots and lots of salads going out on a regular basis, and fast crops like radishes, as well as some slower things like beetroots and beans and courgettes. So I use a technique that is called intercropping and catch cropping quite a lot. That means basically planting slow growing things next to faster growing things, so that you get two crops out of an area where you might normally only get one. So I've got in my hand here some baby leaf lettuce seeds and also some purple top Milans. There's a variety of turnip. They're really good, really sweet and tangy. We use the purple top Milans quite a lot as a salad crop, grated into a beetroot salad. Very nice. They've got two packets of purple top Milans, and the baby leaf lettuce is a fast growing lettuce mix that is really good for people who are serving up at cafes and restaurants. And despite lockdown, we are selling to a local cafe called the Smithy in New Galloway. They've been doing takeaways throughout the season. So before we sow these, let's go and have a look at some of the things that I've done before, and you can see the different stages of growth. So these are my outdoor beans this year. I've also got some beans growing inside the polytunnel, French beans and runner beans. These are the outdoor beans that, if you watched any of my videos before, I introduced you to these in trays in the How to Grow Bean season. And look at them now, growing up nicely. Yep, they should be ready, start flowering. Well, some of them are flowering a bit further down the line, should be ready quite soon. So these are the beans growing up the poles, but in between the beans I've got a crop of radish, and I'm using cherry bell radish, which are a nice round variety. I have them on the French breakfast, which are a kind of long variety with a white tip, but the cherry bells are a kind of classic round. So they're growing in amongst the beans down here, as you can see. Maybe you can't see. Let's tilt that a little bit. So yeah, they're down here. I'll just harvest one so you can see what I mean. So there we go. I sowed these at the same time as I planted the beans. So the beans went in as young plants, and these went in as seeds. So that's just been maybe about 4 weeks, and look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous little radish? It looks perfect. Might have that with my dinner tonight. Bit of salad crop. So yeah, fast growing crop next to a slower growing crop. The beans, again, they're going to keep growing up, and it'll be a while before I'm getting any product off of those. But these radishes they're starting to come out already, and some of them are in the veg boxes this week. Okay, I'll show you something else now. Okay, so in this bed I've got a mix of different brassicas. So we've got some red Russian, or ragged jack as sometimes gets called, some snowball cauliflower, and at the end there we've got some Calabrese broccoli just coming up. These went in quite late, which is why, even though it's just the beginning of July now, they're still looking quite small. I kept them in cells for quite a long time because I hadn't got the beds ready. Oops. So when I planted these out again as small plants, I sowed a row. You can just about see the row here down the side of Mizuna, and on the other side I've got a row of something called purple frill, which is like a red mustard's leaf, and yeah, those are both really fast growing salad brassicas. So they'll be cut and they'll grow back, and they'll cut and they'll grow back, and they'll keep going for as long as they go to seed. Meanwhile, the broccoli and the cauliflower will carry on getting bigger and eventually take up quite a lot of space and these might get shaded out. So that's one of those. And I'll show you something else now. So next step is showing you exactly how I do and what I do when I'm doing intercropping and catch cropping. So I've got here the purple top melans from earlier, and I've got here some leeks that I planted out early this afternoon. So I've kept enough space in between the rows of leeks for a quick crop of something, in this case purple top melans. So here's what I do. Now there's lots of ways to do things, and it's not necessarily the right way, not necessarily the wrong way, but when I'm sowing direct outside, I make a little, bearing in mind that the purple top melan seeds are very tiny, so they don't need to be sown very deep, maybe just a centimetre or a centimetre and a half. So I, using a trowel or even with the back of your hand, which is kind of what I prefer to do, you make a trench all the way down. So that's the side of my hand, get nice and mucky. So I'm using the Moorland Gold, the seed and cutting compost. So what I do is get a handful of this and sprinkle it into the bottom of the trench. Okay, so that way the seeds have got a nice little bed to sit on, comfy bed. Okay, so purple top melan seeds, like I say, they're really wee, just like most brassicas. Okay, so I tend to sow mine reasonably densely because you can thin them out and leave room for the others to get a little bit bigger. So leave like maybe 5 centimetres between each one. Make that 3 centimetres. Okay, so that's that row done. Pop the remainder back in there. And then again, using the seed compost. Remember, seed compost is nice and fluffy and fine. There's no big lumpy bits in this, so there's plenty of room for the seeds to both put up their first shoots and also to put their roots down. I'm just going to cover those seeds up with about 1 centimetre of this lovely compost. Now, see how I patted it down, but that was just patting it really quite gently. I didn't firm it down too hard. Benefit of using this compost is that you can also tell exactly where your line is. No silly sticks or bits of string to get blown away. You can see that the compost is quite a bit darker than the soil and manure mix around it. Okay, last step, as always with seed sowing, is to give it some water. Finishing touches, some water. Standard small watering can. Don't forget to use quite a fine rose, and when I water my seeds in, and also for watering seed beds generally, I just tend to use the rose upside down like that, and you'll see it gives a really quite nice spray effect. probably do. It's bound to rain later. Okay, well that's a little view of my beautiful garden before we go. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I did promise to mention something about companion planting, and that's really just to say that you need to make sure that the crops that you're using as your catch crops or intercrops are ones that are beneficial in some way to the crops that are next to them. So brassicas, in this case brassicas, that's the turnip, and the allium family, that's the leeks in this case, leeks, onions and garlic. They're pretty good bedfellows, tend to like each other and support each other in growing. Equally the radishes and beans are quite a good companion. Look out for things that don't do so well together though, because you shouldn't really put spring onions or anything allium based around peas and beans. They're not particularly good pals. Loads of other examples. That's probably a topic for another time, although quite a good topic, I think. Okay, well thanks for tuning in, like I said, and hope you've enjoyed this, and if you like it then give it a like, and if you like it a lot then chuck us a donation to our PayPal, links at the bottom and on the website. We don't have any funding for this, so yeah, anything helps. Thanks very much and see you next time.